Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my 27th YouTube session on Azure DevOps concepts. In this session, I'm going to cover the topic how can we customize the fields of work items like use cases, test cases, bugs, tasks, and all other work items within a given organization under Azure DevOps. And also I'm going to explain you how can we create an inherited processes for a given organization in Azure DevOps. Please subscribe to my channel, click on bell icon so that you'll receive more videos whenever I publish. Okay, so these are our agenda items that I'm going to cover in this session. How can we create an inherited process for an organization in Azure DevOps? And also I'm going to teach you how can you disable a process from an organization in Azure DevOps, and how can we customize work item fields. And also I'm going to teach you how to add new custom fields in work item like use cases, test case, bug, task. Okay, and also I'm going to cover the topic how to add a new tab within a work item. It might be use case, test case, bug, or task. And also how can you add a new section or a new group within the work item. And also I can show you how can we set a location of the field, and also how can you select the type of the field that you would like to add in work item, and how can you make the field required, and how can you set the default value of the required field. Okay, and also I'm going to cover how can you add a new tab to the work item, and how can you disable fields in work item. So these are all our agenda items. I'm gonna walk you through the actual Azure DevOps application with an example. Okay, so let me walk you through the Azure DevOps application now. Okay, so our first agenda item is create an inherited process for an organization in Azure DevOps. Okay, first let me go to Azure DevOps. This is my Azure DevOps tenant. Under Azure DevOps, I have an organization. Let's say we have a project called FedEx Shop. Okay, let's assume I would like to define a process for this FedEx Shop. Okay, so let's see what kind of process did I select here. If you see, I can see that there is a process called custom scrum process. It's already created. Okay, so let me go to all processes here. So what are all the different processes available in Azure DevOps? So these are the basic processes that are getting defined in Azure DevOps. One is basic, agile, scrum, and CMMI. Okay, so these are the default processes defined by Azure DevOps. Okay, so if I click on agile, so these are all the work items that are available in agile. And if I click on CMMI, these are all the work items that are available in CMMI process, right? So now, how can I create an inherited process? First of all, why do we need to create an inherited process? Because, so if I click here under Agile default process, let's assume I would like to click on user story. So if you see the user story fields, there are some default fields that are defined in this process by Azure DevOps. So here if you see all the options, I cannot add any new field, I cannot add any new group, I cannot add any new pages, because it's a default process defined by Azure DevOps. So he'll not give an option for you to add any new fields or customize any new fields. You cannot customize the templates under default processes, right? So to customize the templates or to customize your work item by adding different fields, you have to create an inherited process. Let's assume I would like to create an inherited process for agile. Okay, for that you just click on these more options and click on create inherited process, and then name the inherited process. Let's say Agile. What is my organization? Let's say my organization is Ravi. Okay, or let's say FedEx shop. Okay, FedEx shop. Okay, this is my organization, and click on create process. So as soon as you click on create process, it's gonna create an inherited process, and once you click on inherited process, again it's gonna show you all the work item templates or all the work items. So now you can go ahead and customize your work items whatever you would like to. Okay, so that is our first agenda item, create an inherited process for an organization. Okay, so we have created an inherited process. Now how can I disable the inherited process which I created now? Okay, how can I do that? So if I go back to all processes, let's assume I would like to disable this inherited process. What I need to do? Go to more options, and then here click on disable process. So as soon as you click on disable process, see, the inherited process has been disabled. That means when you create a new project, you cannot select this inherited process no more. Basically, you cannot select this inherited process because we disabled this process. Okay, so now what is our next agenda item? The main agenda item is customize work item fields. So I'm going to cover all the below agenda items. How can we add a new custom fields? How can you add a new tab? How can you add your new sections? How can you add a fields, different types of fields? How can you make a field a required? How can you add a new tab? And how can you disable the fields? Okay, I'm going to cover all these topics now. Okay, so let me go back to my organization. Under this organization, I have created, okay, let me create a new project now. Okay, so my new project is FedEx shipping. Okay, this is my new project. Okay, so under this project, so now I would like to create a project with a new inherited process whatever just now I created, which is Agile FedEx shop. Okay, I'm selecting that inherited process for this particular project. Okay, and click on create. So as soon as you click on create, a new project is gonna create. Okay, so just to give this minute. Okay, so now there is a new project called FedEx shipping has been created, right? So once you click on FedEx shipping and then go to project settings, and here if you see the process whatever I selected, which is showing here, okay, Agile FedEx shop, basically I selected a custom Agile process. Okay, so go there. So now let me show you. Let's assume we would like to customize a work item called user story. So for that, you just click on user story. Here, if you see under user story, so before that, let me open my, in another tab, let me open the FedEx shipping project, and then let me go to work items, and then let me click on user story. Okay, so if you see, the user story has some enter title field, description field, acceptance criteria, story points, priority, right? You got a risk, and then you have business value area, basically value area, right? So now I would like to, if you see here, the user story template, the work item user story template is defined this way. Same thing, description, acceptance criteria. Under planning, we have story points, priority, risk, and all these things, right? Now I would like to add a new section. First of all, I would like to add a new section. Assume, okay, let's say, or a new group. Okay, for that you need to click on new group. Let me define this as custom group, or custom group, or selection, custom section. Let's say custom section. Okay, now where do you want to add this custom section? So do you want to add in this lane, or do you want to add in the second column, or do you want to add in third column? So that you can select. Say here custom section. So if you want to add in the left section, you select this. If you want to add in the middle section or middle column, you can select this. If you want to add right column, you can select this. So let's assume I want to add in the middle column and click on add group. So as soon as you click on add group, you can see that a new section has been added in the middle. Okay. So once I create this custom section, right now, let me create one new field in this custom section. Okay. Let me create a new field called estimate, original estimate. Okay. Original estimate. Okay. Let me just define this as decimal. Okay. And then click on add field. Okay. What it says, the field name already exists. Okay. Original estimates. Let's say original estimates. Click on add field. Okay. So here now you have added one new section in the middle column, and then you have added a new field called original estimate. So now let me refresh this work item. It should show a new section with new field. So if you see here, you have a new section called custom section, and where you can provide your original estimate like 20. Let's assume 20. It's a digit. Okay. So you can create this. Okay. So let me just user story just description and this one, and save this. Okay, let's save this. Now let me go back here. Now let's assume I would like to move this, I would like to add this to my first column. For that, what you need to do, just go here, click on edit. Now just I would like to change this as a left column. Okay, aligned, and click on save. So now this section moved to left column. Okay, so now here again refresh this. I would like to refresh this and see what happens. See, if you see under acceptance criteria, the new section, whatever it is, has been moved to the left column under acceptance criteria, as same as here, right? Okay, that is one thing. And the next one, so now I would like to add a new page for user story. Let's assume, click on new page, just name it as custom page. Okay, and then add page. So if you see here, the page, whatever default page is called details page, I have created a new page called custom page. Okay, now let me add a new field here. Okay, in this particular custom page. Okay, how? Click on add fields, name this as let's say remaining efforts, let's assume. Okay, and then let's select this as and that's okay, we will keep it as text only. Okay, click on add field. So as soon as you click on add field, it has added a field into the new page. Now if you see here, you have a details page here, right? Okay, let me refresh this now and see what happens. So as soon as you refresh, you can see that a new tab or a new page has been added. That means a new tab has been added. If you go to tab, and you can see that there is a new field called remaining efforts. That means you can customize your work item to add a new tabs as well. Okay, so default tabs are details, history, links, attachments. Along with that, I have added a new page or new tab called custom page, right? And you can define your new tab with all the sections and all the fields. Okay, so that is done. Now let me go back to details. Okay, this is again default page. Now let me add a new field directly without adding any section. Okay, let's go to new field. So now this time let me add a new field called CVRT. let's assume CVRT 1. Okay, now I would like to add a pick list. Okay, pick list. Okay, under pick list I would like to add drop down values. Okay, one is high, add a value, medium, add value, low, add value. Now there are some other options. So now do you want to add this particular field in which section? Do you want to add the field in the details section, or do you want to add the field in under acceptance criteria? So what group do you want to add? So let's say I would like to add under classification or custom section, whatever the section. Okay, let's say I would like to add under custom section. Okay, and then click add field. So if you see here, so now the severity drop down has been added under custom section, correct? So let's say, let me refresh this now. Go to details, you have a custom section. Under original estimates you should have a new field called severity 1. Just refresh this. Once you refresh, see there is a severity 1. Under severity 1 drop down you have all the selections whatever we added. Let me select it as high and save it. Okay, so that's how you can create a new field in any section. Okay, and now let me, so how can you disable a field? Okay, let's assume I don't want this original estimate. Just click on more options, hide from layout. So this particular option has been striked out. And now refresh this. As soon as you refresh, this original estimate should be disappeared. Refresh. So the original estimate is no more. Okay, that's how you can hide your field. Now I don't want to have this entire custom section itself. So then what you need to do, I can hide entire section as well. Just click on more options and click on remove. Basically, if you don't want to see this section, you can just click on remove. Remove. And now refresh this. Your custom section should be taken out. Gone. Okay. That's how you can remove your custom section. How can you make a field as a required field? Okay, let me add a new field under planning section this time. Okay, let me add a new field called original estimates. Okay, and make this as decimal. Okay, now I want to add this in planning section. Okay, so it says, okay, in the description it's already there. Okay, let's say original estimates 1. Okay, and then I would like to add under group planning and make it as add field. Okay, if you see under planning there is original estimates 1. Let me just refresh this. Let me refresh this, and then if you see here there is original estimate. Okay, I just save it. Now I would like to make this original estimate as a required field, because if you see here I remove this and then save it. It is allowing me to save. It's not a required field now, right? That's why it is allowing me to save. So let me go back here and click on this or more options, click on edit, and if you go in the options, there is an option called required. You can check this box, that means I would like to make this as a required, and save it. So let me refresh this again now. So now I would like to validate whether this field is required or not. So that for that I just want to remove this and then see what happens. See, as soon as I remove, there is a required field. Basically, if you see here, field original estimates cannot be empty, right? So that means I have to enter some value in empty field. Save it. So now how can I populate a default value? So let me add a new field here. Okay, the new field called process type. Okay, let me add as process type Okay, and then add this as a drop down pick list. Let's say okay, let me keep it as text only. Okay, okay, so now go to options, and here make default. Let's say default agile. Let's assume default is agile. And now I would like to add this field under a section. Let me classification section. Okay, so what I did is I just mentioned my default value that needs to be populated in this particular field. Okay, add field. So if you see here, process type has been added under section classification. Okay, now just refresh this. So now there is a process types field, and which has by default agile. But if you want, you can change this. You can just provide anything, any value you want. You just save it. That's it. But only thing is, whenever you create a new work item, let's say go to no user story, by default that particular field will be populated with a default value every time. Okay, that's the use of your default value. Okay, you can default. And now, so let me see what are all the remaining topics that we need to cover. We already covered how to add a new tab. We covered how can you add a new custom field, how to add a new tab, how to add a new section or new group, set location of the field. While creating a field, you can set a location if you want to set under section left side or middle section, wherever. And how can you make a field required, or how can you set default value, that is also covered. And then how to disable the fields, we already covered how can we disable the field. Okay, hope you understand the topic. It's very easy. So in the same way, you can customize whatever the task work items you want. Okay, let's say if you want to customize the fields under work item called task, you can perform same operations under task as well. If you want to customize your bug template, okay, where you can if you want to add any new fields, new groups, new pages, or if you want to remove some of the fields, you can remove them, you can hide them. Okay, and if you want to customize epic work item, you can customize your epic template as well. So it's very easy in Azure DevOps to customize, to create new fields within the work item. Okay, and also let me tell you one more thing. If you want to disable your entire work item itself, let's assume in my organization, I don't want to use a template. Basically, I don't want to use a work item called issue. What we can do? So if you see here, whenever I click on this new work item, it is showing me issue also. So now I don't want to provide user to add any issues because I already have bug. For example, organization decided not to use a work item called issue. What we can do is go here, go to more options, click on disable. So as soon as you click on disable, it disables your issues. Now just refresh this. And now if you see here, when I click on new, so there is no issue here, right? So again, I want to enable this. Click on enable and then go here, refresh the project. Now I should be able to add a new issue as well. So this way you can disable the work items as well. If you want to add a new type of work item, let's say click here, let's say new work item type. I'm just giving an example. Okay, new work item type, you can select whatever the color you want, whatever the icon you would like to, site icon, and click on create. Okay, so now a new work item called a new work item type has been added. So just refresh this, and then if you click on new, see there is a flight symbol and the new work item called new work item type has been added. Simple. So this way you can customize your entire process and you can add a new work items, you can disable the work items, and then you can customize each work item by adding fields, by disabling fields, by adding new groups, new sections, new pages. Okay, hope you all understand the concepts. If you have any questions, leave your comments in my comment box. Please subscribe to channel and click on bell icon so that you will receive notifications whenever I publish more and more videos. Thank you.